Hello everyone, I'm Krasi, and today I will talk about karma, free will in astrology, about how influential the past karma is in this lifetime, how to see this through astrology, how to do we have the capability in this lifetime to influence our karma, to influence the karmic events. 2 years ago, I made such video. I think they were even two, but 2 years is a long time, and I've learned a lot. So I want to share with you my experience now, what I've learned during this period of time, and what probably changed a bit in my perspective. I certainly believe that this is also the fact given in the ancient Babylonian astrology, also in the Vedic Indian astrology, that the karma is a fact, that the horoscope is karmic, that in the horoscope that we are born with, everything is karmic. The horoscope is showing every single event that will take place in our lives, like our birth, then our possible studies, our level of our consciousness maybe, is showing also our education, children, marriages, jobs, careers, everything. Now, this is so indeed. This is very true. But I realized something in this short, or maybe not that short period of 2 years, I realized something that changed a bit my perspective. And I will show you what it is, and I'll illustrate it with the example of a randomly chosen horoscope. I realized that this is valid, this point of view, that everything is karmically predetermined, is indeed so, but this is valid up until certain level of awakening of our consciousness. This is what I've learned. Because yes, everything is a given. We come here with this contract, with this passport, which is our horoscope. Our horoscope is a passport. So yes, in our horoscopes, every event is predetermined. That is very true. But how far we can go to improve certain events? What is the role of astrology? If we can or not change some of our predestined events. Now, of course, the horoscope is showing our karma, is of course showing every event that is taking place, or at least the possibilities of events to take place in our lives. And I will illustrate this with a randomly chosen horoscope, and then I will tell you how I think we can influence our karmas for good. This is particularly, I believe, important video and message to share with you right now, especially when people are so afraid with these set events taking place in the world. So I think this is appropriate message right now. That is why I thought of speaking now about this. Now, this is really randomly chosen chart. I don't even know whose horoscope this was. So what we see here is, of course, the typical 12 houses, which are representing the 12 main areas of our lives. And of course, there is a way, according to the ancient Babylonian astronomers, astrologers, to look at them. Of course, we look at the importance of the fixed stars, the so-called Paranatelonto, which is showing the projections of the fixed stars on key important positions of the zodiac. And yes, the fixed stars have such high hierarchy on the sky when we see the celestial spheres, that the fixed stars certainly are very, very powerfully influencing us. So it is always important, and it is always for a reason, when somebody is coming and has important fixed star conjunct with the moon, or conjunct with the sun, or on the ascendant, or on the horizons. All this matters and is given for a reason, for sure. And these fixed stars are given either luck or given bad luck. And in this case, we see here that even the midheaven is passing through the difficult place of the Pleiades, for example, we know this is happening for a reason, and the Pleiades will influence the life of this particular person for good or for bad. Now, of course, we need to look at the lucky placements of the planets and to what extent they will denote luck or not, what in particular. And this is all karma, and it is predestined. It is karma. And certainly very, very important will be the lunar nodes, because they, Ketu, the tail of the dragon, look, in this case, this is Ketu here, is in the last decrease of the 5th house of the sign of Sagittarius, and the tail of and the head of the dragon Rahu is in the last decrease of the sign of Gemini. And this is also happening for a reason. They are pointing, Ketu is pointing the past expertise, what the person already went through, what was the main focus of the past life or lives, and Rahu is showing the current aims or desires, which can also go a bit out of scope, which can also have a bit of illusionary nature, so to say, because the person will be too much emphasized on certain area of life. And why I'm saying this, it has a reason. No, I'm not just pointing in this without a reason. I will tell you in a moment. And then we are having, of course, the malefic planets, Saturn, Mars, and also let's look at Pluto and Uranus. I'm not saying Neptunus, because Neptunus I do not consider malefic, because Neptunus will be malefic if you allow him to be malefic. He can be deceitful, deceptive if you allow to be deceived, or then he will be very much malefic, yes. But in general, he is a beautiful, high vibration, maybe of Venus, let's say. So this is Neptunus is another story. Maybe I can make another video on this. But we're looking now at the malefic planets which are known to give bad, hard lessons, difficult influences to people's lives. And these are Saturn, Pluto, Mars. Their presence is in what way good? Because let's take Saturn, who is the ruler of karma, who is the ruler of tears, who is reminding us what we didn't achieve, what we didn't learn in our past lives. And the placement of Saturn is key. And the phase of Saturn is important. Also, whether the person is born in the day or at night, all this is important for the Saturn and the Martian influences on a person's life. And all this is karma, definitely karma. But here, what is more important to emphasize on? Yes, Saturn and Mars are pointing at the difficulties that they can cause us due to karmic lessons that we still didn't learn and that we need to learn now in this lifetime. They show certain limitation. For example, the position of Saturn, either in a certain body part of a zodiacal sign or in a certain term, is showing which of the person's body organs will be afflicted and what will be the possible health challenges that the person will have. The same is with the other malefic planets. Let's say one would have Saturn conjoined what body part. The easier example would be in the heart of the lion. This person very possibly will have heart issues, but why? Because of certain not worked out lessons or challenges or failures in the past lives. And what is this coming to tell us? What are the areas that we need to improve? Nothing devastating, very informative, very useful to depart from in this incarnation. Astrology is really such a source. It's a gift to be able to receive advice from a good astrologer who will not only scare you with a position of Saturn on Mars or Pluto, but will really indicate what you need to work on. And the work usually is not physical, of course. The work is emotional, the work is spiritual, the work is yes, mainly spiritual and mainly on a fine level. For example, if we see that someone is having very difficult placement of Saturn, who can point that the person is having very bad father figure, or had or has, and the father figure was difficult or absent, like oftentimes the case with the invisible Saturn in the horoscope, Saturn in the rays of the sun. Oftentimes the people will suffer very much from either lack of father or very, very harmful and difficult father figure. Then this is the area where the person has to work on. And here I will open a very large bracket to tell you how, in this case, we can change the destiny, because if we don't work out in a very appropriate way the Saturn influences, then we risk to carry on the same aspect, the same difficult Saturn in influences in the next life. So yes, let's say that someone is having very difficult Saturn. And Saturn, in some horoscopes, in most horoscopes, is describing the father figure. Imagine that Saturn is invisible. The person will be lacking the father, or the father will be maybe abusive, or will have very difficult relation with the father. And this is showing that the person, that this Saturn is having very difficult influences, not only showing the difficult father figure, but will result also in other difficult events, or will bring other difficulties and challenges to the person. How to work this out? How to learn the lesson from this Saturn when we have the knowledge of the reason behind certain difficulties? And I'm saying Saturn because Saturn and Mars certainly will be the most often causing difficulties planets, because they are the most difficult malefics. Well, there are two, Pluto also, but let's talk about Saturn, who is the lord of tears, who is the lord of karma. So say Saturn is very badly placed, say it's a night chart, say Saturn is invisible, and he's definitely pointing towards difficult father. And then the person will always have these heavy influences of Saturn, which will influence his or her emotional state. And how to fix this, how to change this karma, to get rid of these influences? Through understanding, realizing, uplifting the level of consciousness, awakening of the soul, and finally understanding the very simple law of love. Because this can be seen in many philosophies. Many philosophies will teach us empathy, but the esoteric Christianity, I'm saying esoteric, you don't need to be Christian to follow this, because I'm also not entering churches, as I don't find God in the churches. But if you look at the esoteric philosophy of Christianity, the only philosophy on earth which brought solution to the karmic depths, which taught us how to fix the current karma, is Christianity. It's Christ who taught us that through forgiveness, love, forgiveness, he was teaching to love the enemy, to forgive and love the enemy, to forgive everyone, to see in every deed, on every people's action, in the evil and in the good, equally, to see the hand of God. And this is how we can improve our karma. And this is not my idea. This is the idea of the esoteric Christianity. So Christ was teaching that through forgiveness, we can clear out, we can cleanse, we can improve right now in the moment of reaching forgiveness our karma. But how? You first need to have the knowledge of the problem, the diagnosis, which comes through astrology, because you may know that you are having certain hard time, you may know that you're going through difficult emotional status, but you may not know what is the reason and what to do, and what is this originating from. And this is where astrology is very, very amazingly useful. So at the moment when we learn these laws of love, which are coming from the most ancient philosophy, but very much from the esoteric Christianity. And when we understand the true forgiveness, we can instantly, this very moment, clear out the karma, not only for ourselves, but for our children. Then we will try to do this. When we already try, we are already clearing out our karma, and the karmic lessons are gone. So imagine that you're very afraid of certain difficult events will happen in your life, and you think that this will be caused by malefic planet, by Mars, or by Saturn, which will be placed in a difficult level of your horoscope. See what is the reason behind their difficult, what is the reason why they influence your life in a difficult way. See why, can work it out. If forgiveness is needed, then forgive. Of course, not in every case this will be needed. Sometimes we may need to forgive ourselves, to ask for forgiveness, and then to start over. And we have any moment in this lifetime is fine to do that. Also, very interesting, of course, is I'll go back again to the level of consciousness. The horoscope is karmic. Imagine that two people are born in the very same day. Well, very slight difference maybe. They would have like 1 degree difference on the ascendant, and you wonder why one of them is so spiritual or educated and the other one isn't. Why one of them is having a heavy disease and the other one is not sick. Of course, again, every single second and moment in astrology matters. This is for sure, because in every single millimeter of the horoscope and on the sky, we have a specific star which is influencing every single degree. But also, what is important will be the level of consciousness of one and the other person. And you may say this will be visible in the horoscope. Yes, it is. It is visible, but at certain point, once the person is reaching certain level of consciousness, he or she can already change a lot, also through prayers. And here I will quote again the Bulgarian master being Sardun, who said that when a person goes to a fortune teller, for example, to a medium, and he or she receives a very dramatic prognosis that some bad event will happen, but still this event wouldn't happen. This will be because he or she prayed a lot and God changed his mind for this person. So the power of prayer, the power of your consciousness, the level of your consciousness, the level of your awakening, this can completely, not completely, but very largely change your horoscope, improve your horoscope. And this is very much valid in these difficult times now. Don't be afraid, because faith, believe that through your own consciousness, faith, connection with God, who is the only one who decides, who allows the evil to operate also on this earth for our good. Everything what is happening on earth is actually perfect for our souls, not for our physical bodies, for sure not, but it is for our souls. So every single deed is allowed by the Creator. And if we see perfection in just everything, if we are connected with God, if we are praying with really true faith and belief, if we are good at heart, if we have good intentions and never even thinking of harming the others, if we are here with the desire to learn, then we are out of any danger. And I will tell you something very important, which my mother reminded me today, important. I didn't know, but when there were wars like hard world wars, like take the Second World War. Do you know that during the Second World War, there were no diseases like flu or any other diseases, just not. And you know why? because the mental state of people was so organized into survival, into totally different direction, that the mentality of people, their mind, wouldn't even think of any other diseases. Can you imagine? So everything we allow or not. So if we become ill through infected, this will be because we allowed it. Our mind allowed it. So this is something that needs that I find very, very important. So the fear is also absolutely not helpful, because the fears are destroying our energetical level of protection, and the fears will certainly could be reasons for people to get infected. That is why the media so helpfully share fearful information every 5 minutes, because they want people to be afraid. Maybe we shouldn't watch even what the media is saying. If we ignore, maybe we will be able to survive through not experiencing any fear. So just to summarize, when can we influence our horoscopes for good? When can we improve our karma? I believe that this is possible. Karma is encoded in the horoscope for sure, but we can change a lot after we reach certain level of consciousness, after we feel that we are connected with God and we rely on God. Because again, there was I'm able to quote Bulgarian spiritual masters because of my nationality and because of my culture, but there was one very famous Bulgarian master and herbalist who would say, my faith in God is so strong that I can go on the street during the bombing of the Second World War, and the fire and the bombs will never harm me. They would just go around me, but never reach me, because of my faith in God. So I would conclude with this. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to remain very strong, not to allow any fear. If you experience fears, pray, connect with the spirit world, connect with the angels, ask help from God. And don't forget to really, I hope it doesn't sound very naive, but it isn't. Don't forget to remain good at heart, to be never to think, to have good intentions, to help people, and to yes, no, just to follow the universal laws for good. So thank you for your attention.